Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome to page 75, level 19b. This is the second rule in the 19th level. Keep an eye on your rule card, and before you begin, have a quick revision of all the rules you have covered so far. And remember that the pink level is all about the rules of Nun Sakina and Tanween, and there are 5 of them, and now we are on the second rule. Also, remember the roundabout example I gave you. So whenever you see a Nun Sakina or Tanween, you will stop and you will think. If it is a ba after it, you will take the first exit and do qalb. If it is not a ba, you will carry on and you will see, now is it a lam or a ra, which will mean you take the second exit, which is called Idghām without Ghunnah, and that's the rule we are covering in this video. Now, if Nun Sakina or Tanween are followed by a Ra or Lam, then we have Idghām without Ghunnah. Let's read this. Idghām means to merge two letters together and read them without a pause. Now, what does that mean? If there was no Idghām here, we would read Yakun lahu. Yakun lahu. That's yakun la. Two separate sounds with a gap or a barrier in between them. Yakun lahu. Yakun lahu. The rule is, so instead what we do is we do idgham and we say yakul. We merge the two sounds together and there's no partition, barrier or nothing, no gap you can hear in between. Yakul lahu. Okay, the rule is if Nun Sakina or Tanween appear before Lam or Ra, there will be Idghām without Ghunnah. So, whenever you have a Nun Sakina followed by a Lam or a Tanween followed by a Lam or either of them followed by a Ra, you will merge the Nun Sakina or the Tanween into the Lam or Ra. You will not do any Ghunnah, you will do it quickly, and there will be no trace left of the Nun Sakina or the Tanween. So instead of Yakun lahu, you will say Yakul lahu. Instead of Tawwaban Rahima, you will say Tawwaban Rahima. Okay, so here's the spot the rule wording, which is also on your rule card, and keep that in mind, and let's go on to the next page. So as usual, I will do some examples myself for you to listen to, pay attention, listen carefully, and then we will do some together inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nun Sakina before Ra, Idghām without Ghunnah. Ra with Dhamma, full mouth. Mir Rusulih. Let's take this one, number 6. Remember, we have to spot all of the previous rules as well. Ha from khussa daghatin qidh, full mouth. Sad from khussa daghatin qidh, full mouth. Tanween before lam, idgham without ghunnah. Ra with kasra, empty mouth. Khalisatul lidhukurina. Number 8. Nun sakina before lam, idgham without ghunnah. Ba from قطب جد قلقلة. ولكن ليبلوكم. And finally, let's do one more example. Number 11. Noon mushaddada غنة. Ra with fatha, full mouth. Tanween before lam, idgham without غنة. ضاد from خص ضاغط قض, full mouth. وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا لَيُضِلُّونَ. Okay, now it's your turn. However, before we begin, remember, as I mentioned, you must spot every single rule that we have covered so far. This is very, very important. It's a common mistake that students make, that they think, okay, I have practiced qalqala enough, for example, I will no longer bother with that rule. But what that usually means is that very soon they forget the qalqala rule and any other rule that they stop spotting. The second thing is, that often students become a little bit lazy and they won't say the full wording of the spot the rule caption. So for example, they might just say ba from Qutb Jad. However, that's not a good idea. If you just say the extra words and complete the sentence ba from Qutb Jad qalqala, then inshallah perhaps you will get more reward because you are saying something for a good cause. Also, you are revising the whole rule. When you say ba from Qutb Jad qalqala, what your mind is doing inside is revising the whole rule and saying this is the letter ba and it is from the 5 letters of Qutb Jad qaf ta ba jim dal, therefore I must do qalqala. If you don't say the word qalqala at the end, for example, then in your mind you are not revising the whole rule, and this often leads to students forgetting some part of the rule. A bit like if you were to be revising a surah and only revising the first few verses and thinking, okay, I got the first few verses right, I must remember the rest of the verses, they'll be alright, I won't revise the rest of them. So don't make that mistake. Make sure to spot every rule. Make sure to say the spot the rule phrase completely, clearly, fully. And finally, you might have noticed I wasn't spotting alifs and I wasn't spotting idhar and idghām shafawi. That's because, as I mentioned to you previously, not all teachers require you to do that, and personally I most of the time skip them. Okay, let's go. We're going to start with number 16. So I'd like you first to try and spot all the rules. Off you go. Inshallah, you found 2 rules in there. Now repeat after me. Ra with fatha, full mouth. Tanween before lam, idghām without ghunnah. فهو كفارة له. Well done. Let's do number 18 now. Off you go. Inshallah, you found 3 rules in there. Repeat after me. Jim from Qutb Jad qalqala. Tanween before lam, idghām without ghunnah. Noon mushaddada ghunnah. وَلِنَجْعَلَكَ آيَةً لِلنَّاسِ. Well done. Let's do number 22. Off you go. Inshallah, you found 3 rules. Repeat after me. Noon sakina before lam, idghām without ghunnah. Lam of Allah after dhamma, full mouth. Ra with kasra, empty mouth. لكن لعنهم الله بكفرهم. Well done. Let's do the next one, number 23. Off you go. I hope you found 3 rules in there. Repeat after me. Noon sakina before ra, idghām without ghunnah. Ra with fatha, full mouth. Lam of Allah after fatha, full mouth. فَإِن رَجَعَكَ اللَّهُ. Well done. And finally on this page, let's do the next one, number 24. Inshallah, you found 5 rules in there. If not, pause and have another look. Okay, repeat after me. Noon sakina before lam, idghām without ghunnah. Ta from khussa daghatin qidh, full mouth. Ta from Qutb Jad qalqala. Noon mushaddada ghunnah. and qaf from خص ضغط قض, full mouth. So as you see, this ta had two rules in it. Be careful of that. ولكن ليطمئن قلبي. Okay, well done. If we go on to the next page, as you can see, there are plenty more examples of the same rule. And as you go along, the examples get slightly longer. And then finally, you have the last page of the level, which has even longer examples. And inshallah, we will take one, perhaps two examples, or just one example from here to practice. Let's go for the very last example on the page. So I'm going to give you some time to find all of the examples. So I can see, I think, 6 or 7 rules at least. Repeat after me. Tanween before ba, qalb with ghunnah. Tanween before lam, idghām without ghunnah. Kha from خص ضغط قض, full mouth. Ra with kasra, empty mouth. Mim mushaddada ghunnah. Dha from خص ضغط قض, full mouth. Noon mushaddada ghunnah. And ra sakina after dhamma, full mouth. So this ra, although it has a kasra on it, but because we are stopping there, we will read it as sakina, so it will be full mouth and not empty mouth. Don't forget the qalb rule. Qalb is an important rule, but it doesn't occur so often, so you have to make a special extra effort to remember it. And also, it is a good time to just check yourself. Do you remember the 7 letters of خص ضغط قض? Can you count them on your fingers? Go ahead, pause and do that. If you can't, then it's time to go and revise that. And likewise, قطب جد, can you count the 5 letters separately? Try that. If not, it's a good time to go and revise that. Now let's read this example. آيات بينات ليخرجكم من الظلمات إلى النور.